Hello, fellow psychology and gamer nerds. My name is Brian Hamilton. Today I wanted to talk to you about the Incredible Hulk. For those of you who have been living under a rock for the past 60 years, the Hulk is a superhero from the Marvel comic book series. First created by Stan Lee and illustrated by Jack Kirby in May of 1962, the Hulk first appeared in a bi-monthly comic book series. Since then, the Hulk has gone on to become one of the most recognized comic book characters of all time, and was even nominated for the 2019 Eisner Award for Best Continuing Comic Book Series. According to Stan Lee, the character was a cross between the gothic fiction characters of Frankenstein, Dr. Jekyll, and Mr. Hyde.
I always liked Jekyll and Hyde, and I always liked the Frankenstein movie, the old one with Karloff. And in the Frankenstein movie, I always felt the monster is really the good guy. He didn't want to hurt anybody. All those idiots with torches were always chasing him up and down the hills. So I thought it would be fun to get a monster who was really a good guy. But nobody knew that. And to take a leaf from the Jekyll and Hyde thing, where he could change from a normal person into the monster. And I did the Hulk.
According to the original backstory, the nuclear physicist Dr. Robert Bruce Banner transforms into a raging green monster after he's exposed to extreme gamma radiation from a nuclear device of his own creation. In the original comic series, Banner's transformation into the Hulk came on at nightfall. In 1964, the writers introduced the idea that Banner's transformations would be triggered by his anger. However, it wasn't until 1965 that the authors made it explicit that the Hulk's anger is the source of his strength, and that the madder he gets, the stronger he becomes. One of the most interesting aspects about the Hulk from a psychological perspective is the character's relationship to anger. We typically feel angry when we feel threatened, or when we see someone threatening someone or something important to us. Anger is the ultimate defensive emotion. It protects more vulnerable emotions like fear, sadness, hurt, and betrayal. In the case of Bruce Banner, he becomes the Hulk so that he can help people who are more vulnerable than he is. In this form, nothing can hurt him. He is the ultimate defense. He is literally anger embodied. According to Jung, the shadow self is the denied aspect of the self. It is our unconscious thoughts and feelings that we have not integrated into our personalities, the parts we are ashamed of and try to repress. The more neglected these aspects of ourselves are, the more they intrude into our lives and interfere with our intentions. In the case of Bruce Banner, the trauma of his extreme gamma ray exposure is what causes the Hulk to manifest. Later in the series, the writers also reveal that Banner's father, Brian, was an alcoholic, that he was verbally and physically abusive, and was convinced that Bruce was taking his mother's attention away from him. When Bruce's mother tried to leave and take him with her, Brian trapped her in the driveway and beat her to death. When we have unresolved trauma like this, anger can come up when situations remind us of our traumatic experiences. In the case of Bruce Banner, it could be argued that when he sees others in trouble, it triggers the emotional trauma of watching his father beat his mother to death and feeling powerless to stop it. In essence, he's reliving the moment over and over each time he sees someone in trouble. Unfortunately, the trauma experiences like this can make it difficult to control our shadow selves. In the case of Bruce Banner, while he undoubtedly does good things for others, there are times when he hurts the people closest to him because he is not in control of his anger. This anger is a shadow part that he has tried to suppress. When he is emotionally triggered, the trauma takes over in the form of the Hulk. Bruce Banner uses a lot of techniques from therapy to try and gain control over his anger. He uses mindful breathing to try and keep his emotions in check. He finds places where he can release his anger without hurting anyone. He also seeks emotional support and feedback from friends and loved ones who help him self-regulate and gain conscious awareness of his anger. For people with trauma, it is also important to integrate their shadow parts into their conscious awareness. In this scene from the Avengers Endgame, we see that Bruce Banner has done that.
For years, I've been treating the Hulk like he's some kind of disease, something to get rid of. But then I start looking at him as the cure. 18 months in the gamma lab. I put the brains and the brawn together. And now look at me. Best of both worlds.
Excuse me, Mr. Hulk?
Yes.
Can we get a photo?
100%, little person. Come on, step up. You mind?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks. Say green.
Green.
Green. Did you get that?
While anger itself is not a problem, it can be when we do not have control over it. A mental health professional can help you gain control over your anger and help you process the trauma behind it. You can also use things like meditation and exercise to help prevent yourself from getting angry. In time, you can learn to engage with your angry thoughts and feelings and understand what is triggering them. You can then respond in a healthier way. With these tools, you can be like Bruce Banner, making the problem a cure. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to be notified when I upload new videos, please hit subscribe. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and I'll see you in therapy.